Welcome to Films and Stuff with your hosts, Pete Mitchell and Ethan Hunt.
All right, Pete, we're back. Episode 2, Wheel of Time.
What did you think, Ethan?
Shall we say we knew it, or we were right, or how can we phrase it?
I don't want to say I told you so.
I mean, I guess what I'm saying is that, yeah, that's how I feel. Is that because we didn't tell ourselves so, but we kind of knew, saying, hey, there's got to be something to this. You know, let's give it another episode. And I feel that episode 2 was dramatically better than episode 1. And to be honest, I wouldn't say that I'm hooked, but definitely I'm interested to see where this goes now. It straightened a lot of things out for me.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it straightened anything out for me, but it certainly piqued my interest. Yeah. And maybe it's the curse of how good Tolkien was as a writer, or how good, the films were. But I can't help but always make comparisons to The Lord of the Rings, whether it's a Fellowship or it's the Two Towers or it's the Return of the King. There's elements that of any kind of show like this that I will compare to the Two Towers. To The Lord of the Rings. And again, it's a testament also to Game of Thrones. And to George R.R. Martin. If there's a medieval setting which is a little bit more grounded in reality, I say that fully knowing there were dragons in there, but a little bit more grounded in reality, I will also compare it to Game of Thrones. This right now is giving me full-on Lord of the Rings vibes, more so than Game of Thrones.
Yeah. There's not so much political intrigue here. It's more mysticism and...
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And, you see like there's a couple of, or at least 2 different races. Yeah. There's a little bit of that intrigue with the
like this white army. Yeah.
Yeah. That guy, I use this term loosely, the witch hunter for all intents and purposes.
The Witcher. Yeah.
It's, I don't know if you've ever played the game either Witcher or Dragon Age.
I have not. I mean, I know that you're a big Witcher fan, and you've tried to get me into Witcher, the television series, which I have half-heartedly promised that I would do, but no, I have not played it either.
There's elements of Dragon Age Inquisition especially, but Dragon Age overall... coming out with in episodes 2, especially with that the guy who's dressed all in white. I don't know his name. The one who has been hunting the sorcerers, and he's got the belt of the rings that he's collected from all of the Aes Sedai.
Yes.
And so it's intriguing to see. Not a bad thing. Don't get me wrong. It feels derivative, whatever that word means. I know it sounds super pretentious, but let's see. My interest is definitely piqued.
Yeah. So let me ask you, where do you think this is set? Like, is this supposed to be like a fictitious land?
Yeah.
Similar to what we saw with Lord of the Rings or with Game of Thrones, or this is like ancient Australia? Like, where do you think this is supposed to be?
I'm certain. I mean, unless they say otherwise, I'm pretty sure this is just all a fictitious land, an unnamed landmass in the middle of somewhere in some time period. It certainly got very European vibes, like medieval European vibes.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we haven't seen any snow. We haven't seen like extreme heat. We haven't seen precipitation. We've seen a lot of mountains, which kind of gives me this, we've seen this in a lot of different shows as well, whether it's kind of like New Zealand or a place like this. But,
exactly.
Ireland or Scotlandish something, but I agree. I mean, it seems to be like a temperate place. It definitely doesn't seem to be anything, too dramatic.
Yeah.
what I found starting to now get me a little bit compelled is that with the 4 kids, one of whom is the dragon, which I think is not a great name, but in any case, one of whom is a dragon. We're starting to see like some little glimpses, right? They're starting to kind of play this game where we're supposed to see these things, and the dude with the red hair, maybe he's a little bit sinister. Then the other guy unsheaths the dagger and unleashes, this black thing, and the boyfriend, girlfriend are a little bit like now suspicious of each other. We're starting to get into this,
a little bit of conflict,
prisoners paradox, right? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Prisoner's dilemma.
Prisoner's dilemma, right? Yeah. So, I mean, everyone's a little bit suspicious.
There's a little bit of conflict brewing. Everyone's a little suspicious.
But no one really knows what they're suspicious about, right?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying is it's a little suspicious in the sense that
they don't know if they want. It's not like one's the king and they all kind of want to be the king. They're actually not sure. No one's really told them like what this means, so they're not sure if they want it, don't want it.
So I was about to say, so this is the thing that always drives me nuts, right? You're in a land where you don't have, faster than light travel. Yeah. You're riding on horseback, and you're going across like miles and miles of land that takes you days and days to travel, right? Yeah. You're telling me you have time to listen to these 4 their version of like hillbillies sing a song about some famous myth, but you can't spend 10 minutes on this horseback ride giving a little bit of exposition as to why the dragon is to be feared. And it's a little bit of information goes a long way. And in all these shows,
I like how you're approaching this like a leadership course. Yeah,
but you know what I mean? It's just, you have no buy-in from anyone that you're trying to protect, right? And why are you withholding information? Like, what is the benefit of withholding?
Pete, I like the way you manage your team. I absolutely want to be. I want you to be my supervisor one day, because I think that you'd obviously clue me into what's going on with organizational philosophy and internal changes. But I think that we have to assume that their management skills are not so sophisticated, and it's a very heavy-handed approach, or a military need-to-know approach. And to be honest, I mean, I have to give Rosamund a little bit of credit here, in the sense that, if she doesn't know who the person is, she may not want to tip her hand, because again, if it's something good, she may seem, some people are going to, try to pretend they're this person or pretend they're not this person and so forth. So I see her point a little bit, where giving as little information as possible helps her ensure that, the truth comes out. But I hear you that it seems like there's a long journey here, and it's surprising that they haven't kind of like pressed her for more details. But like,
you see this like mini rebellion that Rand is doing, right? Or tries to do. Is like, well, explain something. She's like, well, I don't have time. Really? Yeah. You're telling me you have? Yeah. You're sitting 40 hours on the back of a horse. What are you reading? A novel? Writing a book? What are you doing?
Are they doing a podcast?
Yeah. The in-flight entertainment sucks on horseback. You can tell us what's going on. So I don't know. Look, you're absolutely right. I'm reading too much into it. I'm probably applying too much real-world logic into a dramatic TV show. But, in the sense that it's not adding any value to me. It's not adding any value to me, because I am not a fan of manufactured drama for the sake of drama. Too many shows have done this trope that now it's a trope. It's cliche.
Yeah, I agree. One of the things that I'm also seeing here, which is there's this, the inclination is for the writers and the creators to, when you do talk about this manufactured drama, they want someone to be kind of the bad boy, and it's intended to kind of get you leaning one way or another, right? So the dude Rand with the red hair, is obviously right now very outspoken and kind of the troublemaker, and we're intended, he's the first person who kind of has this dream about this crazy thing that comes out of his mouth and this kind of
The bat,
ghost that he sees. So, I mean, we're kind of, intended to lean towards like, oh, there must be something going on with this guy. And I feel like the history of these shows is always that whoever you're kind of driven to think is the person is absolutely not the person, right?
It's usually not. Yeah. I think it's going to be Matt.
Matt.
I think it's going to be the thief.
I go along with that because I don't have any better sense. But I still think there's going to be like some twists here and.
But for sure. I mean, it could really be any of the four of them, but like my gut tells me it's going to be Matt because, as you rightly pointed out, right now it's like the show is not doing everything it can, but heavily implying that he's going to be the dragon.
Yeah.
Right? Or the bad guy in disguise.
Yeah.
With the dream that he had, with the bat coming out of his mouth.
Yeah.
All that kind of thing.
He's just kind of brooding, and so he's kind of like brooding in a bad mood, and he's got a lot of Anakin Skywalker to him, right? I mean, you mentioned who is the actor that played Anakin Skywalker?
Hayden Christensen.
Yeah. He's got a little bit. Was it Hayden Christensen? Yeah. Mm-hmm. I want to say Ryan Felipe, but yeah, it was Hayden Christensen, right? And he's got a lot of that brooding Anakin in him, right? Where you're kind of supposed to see him as a little bit of a bad guy, but I'm not sure that's really the case.
Oh man, the ultimate twist would be if it's the Perrin, right? The guy with the wound that he's hiding from everyone.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I don't understand. I'm not sure what to make of this leg wound that he has, right?
Yeah, why is he hiding that? I don't get that.
Yeah, and then what happens when like the dog or the wolf starts to lick it?
That whole thing, like these are all little hints that I think the show is trying to show you that maybe it's Perrin. Because even the wolves fear him, or maybe it's the thief who unleashes this evil magic on the world with by stealing that sword, or not sword, the dagger, or maybe it's the redheaded stepchild, or maybe it's what I mean. Like it's always. I think that's the show trying to confuse you as to not making a decision so early. Which I don't care about. I'm happy to make decisions anytime.
We have no shame when it comes to early decisions that we can walk back.
No. And exactly. Another hallmark of a great leadership, by the way.
No
make decisions early and often.
So I think the show has redeemed itself. I still would not say I think this is going to be my new favorite show. I've got to cancel, my weekend plans because I've got to finish, the rest of the season. But I have to say, it's definitely worth. Like I'm looking forward to episode 3, whereas when I finished episode 1, I was kind of like, I mean, we just said it like an hour ago. We're like, all
take
right,
it or
we'll
leave
do it.
Yeah.
Only because we don't want to give up. There must be something to it, but I have to say, it's not really speaking to me yet.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm telling you, I can't help but feel like the crossing the countryside on horseback and running from this unnamed horde of Krolluks or whatever they're called. It's giving me strong Lord of the Rings vibes. Yeah. Like I'm running away from the Nazgul. It's just.
I agree. I mean, there's something to that as well, which is, you and I have seen, we've seen this movie before, right? I mean, and I think one of the things in shows that you and I are like really passionate about, we talked about Foundation, we talked about For All Mankind, we talked about even Spider-Man for a little bit, The Shrink Next Door. All these shows, what they have in common for us, was it Finch, right?
Yeah.
All these shows, what they have in common is that for us, there's something a little bit new. They made us think. They expanded our creativity. And we didn't actually kind of know how the story was going to end. And I wouldn't say we know how the story is going to end here. We absolutely don't. There's a lot to be uncovered. But so far, I mean, I'm kind of watching this and it's like, all right, like, I get it. Like, well done. Okay, good acting, interesting. But, like, nothing really new, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's not necessarily a bad thing. Don't get me wrong. But
It's not a bad
it's
thing. No.
look, when a show becomes predictable to a fault, then why are you even
Yeah.
watching, right? And again, we're not
Yeah.
there yet. I'm not jumping to that
Yeah.
conclusion just yet. But
Yeah.
there's so
Yeah.
many vibes
Yeah.
that it's
Yeah.
like other pop culture references that you're just like, well,
Yeah.
why? You know, if I have to
Yeah.
watch
I
this or if
agree.
I have to watch Lord of
Yeah.
the Rings,
There's a lot. There's
yeah,
a
yeah.
lot of inspiration here. There's a lot of inspiration here. I mean, Rosamund Pike, I think, is doing a very good job, and I think her consigliere, Lan, I think, is also doing a very good job. I think that they're really carrying things now. The Four are okay. This new gang in white, I think is an interesting development. I kind of wanted to see more of them. I've definitely seen enough Trollocs, to be honest, for a couple episodes. I mean, the Trollocs don't have any super interesting powers. They're just kind of like
Man beasts of some kind.
I guess. Yeah, I mean, they're man beasts. They've got some axes and some other medieval tools.
I mean, but again, you could replace them with the orcs of the Lord of the Rings, and they'd be exactly the same.
Yeah. So I don't think they're not scaring me. So I definitely don't need to see a whole lot more of them. One of the interesting things, though, when we watch this, though, is pace and how important it is to have pace in a show like this, right? Which is too fast, and we don't get to savor kind of the good stuff, and too slow, and we're just kind of like stuck watching something that we've seen before, and we're ready to just move on.
So
how do you think is the pace with this?
So it was interesting because it started off the first episode. The pacing for the first half was pretty decent, I thought. Like, it was giving you a nice slice of village life.
Yeah.
And, like a little bit of backstory or a little bit of a peek behind the curtains of what these women have to go through with that ceremony or that trial or that rite, whatever it is. But then, like, as soon as they had to escape the village and run, that happened like that. It happened at the flip of a switch, and it hasn't stopped.
Yeah.
And if it continues the way it has, it's going to get tiring to watch. So I'm hoping in the third episode the pace slows down so that we're not fearing for our characters' lives or just watching them run. I'm not saying they need to take a stand and have another battle. No, I'm not interested in that at all. But I think what they need to do is get to wherever they need to get to, and then get some rest, and then provide some exposition.
I mean, I guess what we're saying is that we don't need any more camping. Like, they spent a few nights kind of sleeping on the floor in the forest. We need maybe like a change of scenery, right? So they've got to get to this white castle, this white tower. Let's call this Cloud City, right? They've got to get to the Cloud City of wherever they are. Get a change of clothes, be in a nicer setting, introduce,
jump in the back to tank, get some healing done.
Exactly.
Get some rest, and then figure out what's going on, and be, and this is one of the few instances where I don't mind an exposition dump, where we're trying to understand, okay, who is the dragon? How do you know it's one of these four? Why are the Trollocs chasing after us? What is going on? Like, it's too many variables at the moment.
We haven't seen any flashbacks. Too many questions, not enough answers.
Yeah, exactly.
As you've once said. But we haven't seen any flashbacks.
Well, I imagine we're going to see a flashback in episode 3 almost immediately, based on how episode 2 ends, right?
Yeah, we're going to have a flashback. Okay.
No, a flashback, right? Because all of a sudden the woman who we presumed was dead isn't dead. She's found them.
Well, was this lady dead? I don't know if I recognize the lady. Who was it?
Oh, it's the same lady that was with...
yeah.
Who gets taken away, and she even gets referred to as being taken away, remember? I just saw my friend... I saw her die. I saw her being taken away by them.
Yes.
What's her... I don't know her name. Again, I don't know the names.
There's not a lot of... No one's on a first-name basis in the show. There's no... Look out, Magnum. Doc Magnum. There's none of this, right?
I remembered Rand, and I remember Perrin, only because it reminds me very much of Merry. It's like an amalgam of Merry and Pippin from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, there's. I mean, I know Rosamund's character is supposed to be Moraine
or Moraran or something.
And her consigliere is Lan, but
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest,
Can't remember. Oh, Maddie is the
yeah,
thief or the kid who stole.
yeah. Matt is the thief. We know it end. Amazon has something interesting which I haven't played around with, and
The X-ray vision.
yes,
It's so good, right?
and yeah, I have not done enough of that, and also to be fair, we haven't watched like these 3 minute not recaps, but they're like these 3 minute like behind the scenes kind of stuff.
Okay.
Like we like there's the extended version or the interview with like the director.
Oh
or
yeah,
something.
yeah.
Like,
I haven't seen any of that.
we haven't done that as well. But I think we should be fair to ourselves, and I think we should be fair to the film because we're fair people, if nothing else. Fairness to ourselves. I mean, we're here to kind of watch the show. I mean, we're not here to kind of like watch all the interviews and the blah blah blah. I mean, we've kind of seen those extended cuts before, and a lot of that is just rehashing the same scenes, and then one of the actors kind of says, and my mindset in this scene was to do this, or one of the things I love about my character is she's so loyal. That I never really found interesting. Right. But to be fair to the show, I mean, look, if you really want to find out about what's going on, you should probably watch that information. They had it for a reason. So I think that part of that is on us, part of that is on the showrunners.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. Look, if I have to do homework, I look at it this way. When I watch TV, I don't need to. Yeah. I don't want to be doing homework on top of watching a show to really get a show.
Yeah.
And that's where that's where you start losing me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember when Dune first came out, not the remake now, but the first one with Kyle MacLachlan or whatever his name is, and Patrick Stewart. I remember that I was watching some documentary when they made the film. When it was released in the cinema, they actually gave everyone a little...
Like a scorecard, a program.
Like a pamphlet. And it gave you the information as to who everyone was and what the different families
Who's your starting quarterback?
Because the movie was so dense. And that's, for me, that's crazy.
So,
right?
this is crazy, but everyone talks about kind of the second screen, right? And the second screen is I'm shopping on Amazon. Okay, no coincidence. While I'm watching the thing, or I'm looking at sports scores while I'm watching the thing. The what the second screen should do is on my mobile. It should bring up kind of like the equivalent of an IMDb, and it should let me kind of click on the people and the scenes and give me the background while I'm watching it. That's a very...
So this is what the X-ray vision on Amazon Prime does is really good. I really like that. Not that we're being sponsored, although if you're listening, Jeff, we're happy to take your money.
Yeah. We're just saying what we're not saying. But I'll tell you what the problem with X-ray vision is. Tell me if it works this way. If I'm sitting in my bed with my laptop on my knees or my chest, then yes, this would be great. I can click on things. I've got my laptop plugged into my television, and my laptop is sitting on my television and not near to me, right? I'm sitting on the sofa. Yeah. So X-ray doesn't work then because I need to manipulate it, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So... yeah, I agree. If you're sitting in bed, you're doing kind of the traditional binge watch at 3 a.m, then yes. But I would love it if it integrated with my mobile because I'm flipping through messages at the same time. It'd be nice if I could, kind of do a share screen and click on Rosamund and be like, who is this lady? Ah, okay.
And what else has she been in?
Yeah. That's got a lot of, for me, value.
Yeah, I know. I'm with you. Amazon, if you're listening.
We're just saying. Suggestion. Okay, so we gotta hit episode 3. But I think episode 2 has done a lot to captivate us again. Still not ready to say that Wheel of Time is timeless, but certainly it's kind of redeemed itself a little bit, and I can understand what the appeal is, to sit this through at least for the season 1. Yeah. But as you said, you said, Pete, I mean, there's so far nothing in here that is, creating a new, nothing is blowing my mind yet, and that's really why I watch a show is I want that scene, I want that thing, I want the discovery where I'm like, oh my God, that's crazy. We talked about that in Spider-Man. We talked about that one scene in, For All Mankind. I mean, there's been some really crazy things in Foundation as well. So I think that's really what I'm looking for is that scene. Maybe it's in season or episode 3 when they get to this White Castle. I think that's the burger place, White Tower.
White Tower, yeah.
It'd be better if they went to White Castle. And they met Harold and Kumar.
Harold and Kumar, I was about to say, exactly.
And Doogie Howser.
Good old NPH, who also stars in The Matrix.
I was going to give that away. I was waiting for you to do it. I felt like that was your news. I felt like that was your news. Was he cool in The Matrix?
He is something in The Matrix.
No.
I don't want to say anything because I don't want to ruin it for you one way or another. Like, I don't want to give any spoilers away. But he is an important character. He's not just a throwaway character.
What's his name in real life?
Neil Patrick Harris.
Neil Patrick Harris. I mean, for me, he's still Doogie Howser.
He's going to be Doogie.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe Barney, but otherwise, yeah.
Yeah, Barney or Doogie. What is it with those names? Yeah.
Oh well.
Okay, Pete. Let's hit episode 3, yeah?
On to episode 3.
Onwards and upwards. All right, everyone. We'll catch you
in a bit. Thanks.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Films and Stuff. If you haven't already, please subscribe and review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever podcasts are downloaded. Films and Stuff. There is no substitute.